Hello there, crafty friends. It's Alicia of the Me Crafty YouTube channel, and today I am back with the premiere, or the very first video for my SheetLoad of Cards series. I hope you'll stick around today, find out what it's all about, and see me make my first set for June. Thanks so much for stopping by today. I'm excited to be sharing this with you. As I told you in my announcement the other day, I am bringing back SheetLoad of Cards, which is an e-zine that I used to have a blog for. I'm going to bring it back as a series here on my YouTube channel. So each month, my plan is to give you one sketch along with the cutting diagrams where you can start building your on-hand card stash. If you enjoy one sheet wonders or the hashtag love it chop it videos, I think this is going to be a great series for you. Once I find a layout I like, I really like to just reproduce it and find out how I can make the most from the fewest sheets of paper. So each month, what you're going to get in the PDF file, which this is totally free to subscribers of mine, so that's a bonus. You will get a 2-page PDF file. The first page is the sketch and supply list. And what this will do is show you the sketch for the month. And then it's going to tell you what supplies you'll need. So for June, you're going to need 4 12x12 pieces of pattern paper. You're going to need 4 8.5x11 solid cardstocks, and those are for like the mats and the decorative pieces. And then you'll need 6 pieces of solid cardstock to make 12 card bases, just those standard A2. So with 4 sheets of pattern paper and 10 sheets of cardstock, you are going to yield 12 cards. Now the good thing about this is you can leave it completely plain like this, or you can use the basic sketch and jazz it up with die cuts or gems, anything you want to do. Also on the first page, you're going to get the dimensions of the sketch just in case you like the sketch but you don't want to make 12. It's going to tell you how big each piece is. The last thing on the front are alternative ideas or other ways to use the sketch. So for this month, I suggested you could flip it as a landscape card. You could stamp a sentiment here on CS1B. You could use white cardstock for this main one and stamp and color an image. And there, like I said before, you can always add embellishments or die cuts to it. The second page of the file are the cutting guides. So for each piece of cardstock, or if you need, for instance, 2 or 3 of that, I'm going to tell you how to cut those so you can yield the final amount of cards. I will have each type of cardstock or pattern paper labeled, and it's just easy peasy. Now you'll see today that I will adjust CS1B just a little bit, and that is completely fine. You can use these as a basis for adjusting the cards as you need it. The first thing that you'll need are the 4 pieces of pattern paper. I say you need 3 pieces of PP1 or pattern paper number 1, but you'll see here I have selected 3 different pattern papers that I will use as the background for my card. We don't all have 3 of the same piece of pattern paper, so find something you have that works for you. The 4th piece of pattern paper you'll need is going to be this very top, the PP2, and you will just need 1 piece of that. So you'll want to kind of coordinate these. I am using the Backyard Table collection from Recollections. It was, I think, out last summer at Michael's. For the cardstocks, that is represented by the light blue here. It's the CS1A and the CS1B. You'll need 3 total pieces of cardstock. I am going with just white today for my cards. And then you also need 1 other coordinating cardstock that is 8.5x11. I actually cut this down from a 12x12. This is from that same collection as the pattern papers. It's nice and thick. And you don't have to cut it down, I just did so it was easier for you to see how it all goes together. And finally, for the supplies, you will need 6 pieces of 8.5 by 11 cardstock, and I will cut these off camera into 12 A2 card bases. Later, when I go to decorate my cards a little bit more, I will share just a couple more supplies I'm going to pull out, but for now, this is going to get us 12 cards ready to decorate. From here on out, I will just do voiceover as needed. If I do not answer any questions in my voiceover that you may have, leave them in the comment section below and I'll answer them just as soon as I can. The first step is going to be cutting each of your 3 PP1 pattern papers into 4 pieces that are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. This size is going to mean that it completely fills the front of the A2 card. If your trimmer will do it, this goes much quicker if you can cut a couple layers at a time like I am doing here. Next up, you're going to cut the 1 piece of PP2 into 12 pieces that are 3 inches by 4 inches. This will completely use up this piece of pattern paper. Next, it is time to cut the cardstocks. The first one we'll cut is CS1A, and we will cut this into 6 pieces that are 3 1/4 inches by 4 1/8. Now you will notice on my cutting guides it says 3.25 inches by 4.125 inches. Just be aware that 0.125 is the same as 1/8. Next up, we will cut the last piece of white cardstock into 12 pieces that are 3 inches by 1/2 inch. Now, I will actually be cutting it to 3 inches by 1 inch, so later when I stamp my sentiment, the sentiment will fit on there. Now it is time to cut CS2 or cardstock 2 into 12 pieces that are 2 inches by 1.5 inches. Once these are cut, we will put a fishtail in the bottom of it, along with putting a fishtail in the piece we just cut, CS1B. Speaking of fishtails, now it's time to cut them. For mine today, what I'm going to do is make a little snip in the center bottom of the piece, and then I'm going to cut in from each side to that point. This gives you a nice fishtail and you don't need any special tools. What I'm going to do here is take a couple more of the pieces, snip up to the middle, and then later I will go back and cut in from the sides. I'll do this with the white pieces and then the same thing with the pink pieces. Off camera, I cut my card bases, and now it is time to start assembling. This is the point where I like to start doing kind of an assembly line. I'm going to start by adhering all 12 of the PP1 pieces flat down onto those card bases. Next up, I will be adhering the 12 PP2 pieces onto the CS1A piece. Now note here that I aligned the green piece in the top center of the white cardstock. That is why before you cut it to 4 1/8, not 4 1/4. So make sure to pay attention to your alignment on this piece. Now it is time to put the CS2 pieces onto the back of the piece that we just layered together. What I do is put a piece of adhesive on the top front of the pink piece and then kind of just line it up center, and I find it easier to do if I do this from the back. Now we will put the layered pieces that we just created just straight down onto the front of the card. So it took about 40 minutes to get everything cut and put together to this point. What you could do now is just stop where you're at, save all of these together, and then when you need a card, you could stamp the appropriate sentiment and finish putting it together. But today what I'm going to do is go ahead and decorate the cards a little bit and go ahead and stamp some sentiments onto the white strip. To decorate my cards today, I'm going to be using the items that you see in front of me. First of all, I'm going to use the Be Encouraged stamp set from Sweet and Sassy Stamps. I will insert a picture of this stamp set now so you can see what each of the sentiments says. And what I'll do is choose some of the sentiments that fit on my pre-cut and pre-fishtailed sentiment tags. I will also be die cutting butterflies. The paper pad itself had a lot of paper with butterflies, so I thought this would go well. This is a spellbinder set called Wonderful Wings. I got this probably 10 years ago, but to this day it is one of my favorites. Each butterfly comes with a solid outline, and then there's a more intricate die cut center for it. So what I'll do is I'll die cut the outside from the pink cardstock. I don't know yet if I'll use the polka dots or the back side. It might change from card to card. And then the intricate butterfly I will cut from vellum, and that way it just kind of mutes that pattern paper behind it. And lastly, I got out some gems. I thought these might be cute to go right in the body of the butterfly to add a little sparkle. Again, make sure if you have any questions that I don't answer in the voiceover, leave those below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Here we go. I will be stamping my sentiments today with VersaFine Onyx Black. I got out a couple sentiments that fit on the strips, and then since it's my first time using them, I just wanted to see how they stamped, and they did a great job. So once I had those ready to go, I stamped each of these sentiments on 3 of the sentiment tags. One of the great things about these being double-sided is when you accidentally mess up, you just flip it over and try again. Once I had the first 6 sentiments stamped, I got out a couple more sentiments to finish off the 12 pieces. Next up was the die cutting. I started by cutting the outline butterfly out of the pink and white polka dotted paper. Once those were all cut out, I folded up my piece of vellum and I started cutting out the intricate or the detailed die of that butterfly. Now the reason that I doubled them up is because the vellum is really thin and it cuts very easily, so it just took less time to cut these this way. I used tiny glue dots to adhere the vellum piece to the body of the butterfly. Now you can see a little bit of that glue dot, but later it will be covered up with a gem, so no big deal. Next up, I adhered my sentiment pieces to the front of the cards, and I had just aligned these to the right like you see there. Once the sentiment strips were in place, I started adhering my butterflies. I adhered these straight to the card front. I kind of angled them a little bit, and I allowed the vellum wings to lift up and just kind of give some dimension since the card is pretty flat. The final step was to add the finishing touches, and I did this by putting one large gem in the center or the body of the butterfly, and then I added a couple smaller ones just on that green cardstock piece. And just like that, the first sheet load of cards is done. The total time this took me in real time was about an hour and 20 minutes. So to get 12 cards, that is not that bad. If you are a subscriber to my channel and you would like the free PDF file, here's what you're going to need to do. Originally, I was going to have everybody email me with their YouTube username so I can ensure that they were a subscriber. But you know what? That's too much work for you, and it's too much work for me. So I'm going to go on the honor system. In the description box below, at the very bottom, is a link to a PDF file that you, I believe, can view online, print, and download. That is going to be the instruction sheet that I'm sharing here in front of me. If you enjoyed this video today, as always, I appreciate a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel and you want to know when I upload more versions of this sheet load or when I come out with new issues in the future, make sure to hit that subscribe button below and click on the bell. If you're already a regular viewer and subscriber, thanks again for stopping back by. You know I appreciate each and every one of you. Until my next video, I hope you're having a crafty day. Bye-bye.